Hello my little fantasy freaks and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today we are building a castle wall, which I'm hoping you can see somewhat behind. My mic is in the shot. I hope you can see somewhat behind me. My light is very small, so it's hard to light this much up. Obviously it is already done to you, but I'm going to show you the process of how I made this. Not all the footage is the best because I did this out in my garage. I don't have electricity in there. I had to film on my phone for the majority of it because my batteries don't last long in this camera. And some of the footage is really late at night, so it's very, very dark because I didn't even have a light. It was a nightmare. I couldn't see what I was doing. You will still be able to get the gist of how I made it and be able to make it yourself if you wish. You could slightly alter things depending on what you want. So for everything you're going to need for this project, first up you need plywood in the size that you want to make this. So I went for the 2200mm by 1600mm, I believe. Very, very kindly, Holly Reads on Instagram did gift me this plywood, so thank you so much. And I did cut it down to be smaller, and it is 12mm thick. The thicker, the sort of better, because it's going to keep it structure, especially if it's quite tall, because it's going to be too wobbly. But you don't want too thick that it's going to be overly heavy unless it's staying in the same place. So for me, I want to be able to fold this away and put it down the side of my wall. But if I kept it the same height as what it originally was, it most probably would have been too wobbly. I did cut it down and you'll see all that in the video. So next you will need some insulation foam. I can't remember what depth I got because I got it a while ago. I'll pop it on screen, but it is too thick for this sort of method. But I was using what I had. Somebody did give me that as well. I was an anonymous person, but I got that when I thought I was going to carve into the foam, so you do need something thicker. And then I decided I don't want to do that and I want it on a proper board because I thought it would look so much better, and then I can do it double-sided. I do want to do something on the other side. You then need some gate hinges, I think they're called, and I got 3 of these. The taller it is, the more that you will need, but I used 3 and it worked really, really well. You will then need some form of glue to stick the pieces to the wood. I first used a spray glue because it said on the back that it can be used on foam, because a lot of spray glues you cannot use on foam, and I used the Gorilla Glue one. It said it can be used on foam. It lied. It started to disintegrate the foam, so don't listen to what it says on the can. Then I changed to the Gorilla Glue Instant Grab, which worked really, really well, and it stuck so well. I'm scared some of these are going to fall off on the first side that I did because some of them are just on with the spray glue. It's sort of like melted, disintegrated into itself and glued it on, so I might have to glue some pieces on, but who knows. You're then going to need paint, and you need paint that works on insulation foam, so no spray paint at all because it will disintegrate the foam. So the paint I ended up using, and it was because I had it in my house and I was like, well, then I don't have to buy anything, is bathroom paint. It works great as a primer because it is acrylic based, and I was like looking through to see what I had and like googling what has acrylic in, and bathroom paint does. So I used just a plain white bathroom paint and then mixed it with acrylic gesso to get the shade of grey that I wanted. So as for tools, you will need something to cut it to size if you're not getting it cut to size by a professional. For me, it was too expensive to get that done, so I cut it to size myself using a jigsaw. Circular saw's technically better at doing a straight line, but I did the little method with clamping down a piece of wood next to it to get a straight line, and that worked perfectly. I'm just scared of circular saws. They terrify me, so I was like, I'm just going to use a jigsaw, a lot smaller, and that worked really well for me. I used a screwdriver to screw in the gate hinges, obviously brushes for the paint. You will need sandpaper, and I used a sandpaper block behind the sandpaper because it's easy to hold, because you will need to do a lot of sanding, which also means you need a respirator mask, and you will also need some foil to add some texture. And like I said, depending on what you do, you might want to change it slightly. This is just what worked best for me, and this can be reversible. So when I fold it, the bricks are on the outside because they're too chunky to do it the other way. That's why I did it that way. So on the other side, I want to use a really thin foam to make maybe like wood slats and have a wood slat looking backdrop. And it does just fold in half and I can slide it away. I do want to add some like thing to the bottom, like soft feet, so it's not scratching my floor. That is the only thing that I have not done yet, but I'm thinking of just getting some little furniture pads for the bottom.
If you're cutting this to size yourself, you want to measure everything out. I can't remember exactly what size I did it to. I think it was 190 centimeters, and I did end up taking some of the width off as well because it was too wide. So I'm just marking that in with a pencil using a set square to make sure I'm getting a nice straight line from the edges. And then I only had a short ruler, so I was trying to like get it straight right across. And then I'm using tape over top of that because it helps with the jigsaw to not splinter as much. You can use pretty much any tape for this, and you can still see the pencil mark through this. I then realized I could just use a piece of wood as the ruler. I just needed something straight, so I went over with that because it wasn't quite straight with my little ruler. So I'm just marking that in over the top, even though you don't need to go over the top if your tape is partly see-through.
So now is the scary part, which is setting up the jigsaw. And to get it straight, I am going to go in with this bit of straight piece of wood that is incredibly dirty, but it'll do the job, and clamp that down next to the thing. But I want to work out, I need to just put the blade in to see where it's going to line up. Like now, let's put the blade in. I'm probably going to look on Google because I swear I'm reading instructions. It didn't go in. The blade is in. It was super easy. I can't believe how easy it was. I'm hoping I've done it right. I think I have. I looked on the internet how to do it because it really didn't make sense. It was like, put it in this position, but there's no picture. So it is in there. Now what I'm going to do is line it up to the wood on the line, and then I want to position this piece of wood. I'm going to like position it next to it straight, because then I'm going to follow this along and I'm going to clamp this piece down. That is clamped down. I don't think that's going to move. It's solid on there. I've like pushed as hard as I can. Now I'm going to go get all of my safety gear. I'm going to get an extension that is waterproof. We do have an outdoor one because it looks like it could rain. Okay, that wasn't bad. This side's like really good, and then because I couldn't reach properly on this side, I had to go back in from the other way, and the cut's a little bit off. But it's for the top, so I'm not too bothered as long as the bottom is flat. I don't think I'll have any issues, but I am gonna like sand this so it's nice and smooth. It is pretty good considering when I can see how much these can like splinter, and I think that's from using the tape trick. But yeah, I'm pretty happy how that goes, and I've got to do it again now.
So the next thing I'm doing is adding the gate hinges, and I'm just using a drill to put these in. I did one going one way and two going the other way, so the middle one goes the opposite way. And I'm just drilling these in. These screws were a slight bit too big, so on the other side I did use a dab of hot glue so they weren't catching on anything. And that is the side the bricks are going to go anyway, so it doesn't matter, they are covered by the bricks. And off camera I did sand all the edges. Like I said, I took some width off as well as some height, so I had to sand all the sides, and I wanted to see if it opened up just fine, and it did. Now there's a few ways that you can do the bricks. So on the foam you can draw out brick shapes if you wish to get a sort of idea on the size that you want. I've got some pre-made ones here, so I was trying to get the same like size as them because you want similar sizes. But what I ended up doing by the end is just randomly cutting these. So I do long strips and then cut them into sort of brick sized, and then you can go in and cut the corners and everything off. So I just went in with one board and cut loads up because you need so many bricks. There's definitely over 100 bricks on this thing. I don't know how many exactly, but definitely over 100. It took me in the end, I think it took me 5.5 insulation boards. So here I'm rounding off the edges, and I do go in with the blade and sort of like curve some of the edges as well. So just doing little wave motions on the sides so they're not super straight because they're supposed to be old bricks, so I didn't want them to be very uniform. They were all different sizes. I did some really long ones, some really short ones, and like I said, some of them are really thick as well, like taller, and some of them are a bit skinnier. I just wanted it to be really random, but depending on the brick you want, you cut them in the way you need. Like I want to do a sandstone version, and for that one I want very straight looking bricks. Next up, put your respirator mask on. You need this for this step. I accidentally didn't use it for one of the bits, and I ended it with black dust coming out my nose. So I'm going in with my sanding block, and I'm using some sandpaper. I'm using 120, and I just stuck with 120. And I'm going to start sanding the edges of these bricks. And then on the side that's going to be the front, you want to start sanding it like down, so it sort of curves. And I did go in with my Dremel for some of these, and I didn't end up liking using it because it was just taking too long because it was so small. So I ended up just hand sanding the majority of this. This is what takes the longest. It takes so long. But once you've done, you can go in with a ball of foil, so just really bunch up some foil, and then you want to press into the insulation foam. It's best to do it on a hard surface. I'm still not doing it on a hard surface here. But you want it to be really random, so use different parts of the foil as well as pressing harder in some sections. So now I'm going in with the glue that you don't want to use. Do not use this glue, use the instant grab. And I'm just starting to lay them out. I did put some up just to sort of see how I want them to look before I went in and glued, but I did not film that because you want it to fit across, obviously. And majority of mine have 4 going across, some have 3. Now for the pin, I'm going in with the bathroom pin, and I'm just making sure to give it a shake up because this is very old, and adding some of this black gesso to it. And honestly, this was so hard to open. It had been in my loft for God knows how long. So I'm just mixing all of that up, and I ended up just using it directly from the tin. And when pinning it on, it goes on, I can't remember if it goes on lighter and dries darker or the other way around. I'm not going to lie, I cannot remember. I think it goes on darker and dries lighter. So I thought it was going to be darker, but don't worry, I'm going to go in and shade afterwards. So I'm just going around all of these bricks. I have not even started putting the bricks on the other side yet. But yeah, just really get in there. You don't want a thick layer because you don't want to hide the texture. You want to make sure the paint gets into the texture, so you can stipple, really rub the brush in there. And I'm not going to lie, some of these did pop off because I used the spray adhesive. And now I'm going in with shading, so I've added some more of the black gesso. And I'm doing this in all of the creases and then also dabbing around the edge of each brick. Sadly, that is all I got footage-wise for the painting.
So that is the castle wall in all its glory. I'm too tall right now, but it's really good. The width is no good for a wide camera, but this is to shoot short form content, so it's fine for doing vertical. You could add another panel on, and that would give it more things so it wouldn't knock over, but it doesn't ever feel like it's going to knock over, and it's at the closest width it can go because these seam sections can't fully close. I also do need to touch up some little bits of paint just around each of the stones because I painted it at night time and I could not see. But I hope this video was somewhat informative. I know it was not shot the best, but hopefully I can describe it enough because it's very simple, but I will say time consuming, so time consuming making each individual brick. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!